All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome on into the Arctic Air Studios, where if your air was a little Arctic this morning, got a little chilly, you need to call the Bear. They've got their less than $100 service special going on right now, where you can call them out and they'll check out your heating and AC unit and make sure you're ready to go. So spend a little bit right now, so you don't have to spend a whole lot coming up this winter. You know what I'm talking about. All right, we're glad you're with us tonight here in the Arctic Air Studios. On Thursdays, we rate things overrated, underrated, rated right. Tonight, we're talking about running backs. Ah, yes, running backs, all time running backs, college or pro, and maybe even specifically Texas Tech. And where does Taj Brooks rank for you all time as a Texas Tech running back? Oh, we got that. We got Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State, actual on the field football this weekend. What weird things could happen? Because nothing ever weird happens when Tech and Oklahoma State play. And it's not like Gundy's own Texas Tech, 14-4 against the Red Raiders. Could this be the last time they play? Beyond that, Texas Tech basketball against St. Joe's in New York City later on tonight, 8 o'clock, give or take, tip off. They're at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, where one of the coolest places I've ever broadcast a game. I'll tell you some cool things about that place here in just a little bit. So we'll talk basketball tonight with you, football, everything else, whatever's on your mind. You guys jump in. Let's do this thing in three, in two. Hold on. Swallowed wrong right before when I did that, I was like, oh man, that's not good. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, where you start your day every day. Glad you're with us here, whether you are on Twitter or X, whether you are on our YouTube channel, on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. United Supermarkets taking care of all of the communications tonight. Brought to you in part by Lifts West Hotel and Condominium in Red River, New Mexico. Darn near ski in, ski out. I would say it's this close. I mean, you could, but you got like maybe 300 yards. You got to go. Anyhow, they open the season this time next week. Snow's good, making snow. Call my man Billy. Tell him Raiderland sent you. You want to stay at Lifts West, nowhere else. Also by the Reserve, a culinary tavern where tonight you could be at 103rd and Quaker in Lubbock getting great food, amazing eclectic menu, fantastic drinks, and watch Texas Tech and St. Joe's. They'll have it on the TVs. And the cool thing about the Reserve is the acoustics are great. You can hear, the music when it's, not a game time. You can hear the announcers when they put the game on, and you can still talk to your friends. So head out to the Reserve tonight if you're looking for a place to watch. They're in South Lubbock on 103rd and Quaker. Tell them we sent you. All right. Texas Tech versus Gundy. Your thoughts, craziness. What do you think is going to happen this weekend? Let's talk about overrated, underrated, rated right running backs. The running backs, all-time college or pro, that don't get enough love, in your opinion, the ones who maybe are overrated and the ones who you think are rated right. And where does Taj Brooks fit in now that he has the record? But on the totem pole of great running backs at Texas Tech, does that automatically make him the greatest running back all time at Texas Tech? You tell me tonight. And then, we got stuff. Let's see, Craig, the talking box is on. Indeed, it is. For those who don't know, that's an old reference. Some know, some don't. Randy is on Facebook. We got two Facebook. We need our YouTube people in on the chat line, thanks to United Supermarkets, and we need our Twitter people in. Where are the Twitter people? It's been great the last couple of weeks. Sleeping with the windows open in Lubbock almost feels like you're camp at 11,000 feet or higher. Last 2 weeks it gets nice at night. Gets cold. It gets cold, but not like freaking crazy. But what we really need a freeze. I know we had a freeze the other day, but what we really need is like a hard freeze. And I don't know that we're going to get one between now and Thanksgiving. It officially froze like 2 nights ago here in West Texas, like the third latest freeze of all time. Now we need something else. All right, you guys get your questions, comments, and thoughts. Texas Tech basketball. Real quick look at this thing. HoopsHD.com. They do great breakdowns. We pay attention to them. HoopsHD.com and Bracketville.wordpress.com. Dave Almond on Bracketville, and then Chad Sherwood and his crew on Hoops HD. Nobody does a better job assessing college basketball, assigning metrics, and then letting you know exactly where the teams are trending on their seed line during the season and where they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. That's really all that matters, right? So hoopshd.com, Texas Tech right now 31. I think that's a fair assessment. Tech hadn't played anybody with a pulse. They played good. They've looked good. They hadn't played anybody with a pulse. St. Joe's, they've got a win against Villanova, which is coming up for Tech. 89. This is by far the best team that Tech has played. So tonight, the biggest thing is you're playing in New York City. Pardon me, Brooklyn. You're playing in Brooklyn. You've got a big stage. Don't wet your pants. Show up. Look good. Win the game. Look good winning the game, because you've got a chance to really garner some attention over the next couple of days in New York City. Now, that said, again, Tech hadn't played anybody that's really good, so I don't know for sure what's going to happen tonight. I'm with you. I want to see what happens. Jeff is on our YouTube channel. We highly recommend everybody subscribe because it don't cost nothing. And then everybody on YouTube watching, give us thumbs up, like it. That drives the metric. That's really cool. I want to believe we beat Oklahoma State, but it would be the most Texas Tech thing to go and spit the bit. Actually, would it be the most Tech thing to lose up there, or the most Tech thing to win up there after losing 3 out of your last 4, after looking bad against Colorado, and then just go up there and just beat the hell out of them? I don't know. I do know that you've got to do what you didn't do against Baylor, which is take a team that's down. I mean, you could have finished off Dave Aranda at Baylor earlier this year. You didn't do it. So you've got a chance to go into Stillwater and finish off what could be the end of the Mike Gundy era. So I'm not sure what the most Texas Tech thing would be after a stretch of not playing well or not closing out or whatever you want to call it, and then going up there and looking good. He is Randy. One Ryan Hyatt does next best behind hoopshd.com, bringing us the basketball knowledge. Oh, okay. Yeah, it took me a while to read that. Hi there. First time out with the new eyes and reading the English language. Thank you very much for the compliment. I don't know about that on the basketball knowledge. They do a great job. Hoops HD and Bracketville. I try to coalesce that from a national standpoint, and I feel like I've seen a little bit of basketball over the last 2, 3, 4 decades, and watched it up close and learned from some pretty good coaches that I've got a pretty good idea. When I see something, I think I know what I'm seeing. Take it for what it's worth. CJ is on Facebook. I enjoyed watching Hansbard, Morris, and Taj. They're all rated right. Overrated, underrated, rated right. Running backs, college or pro. Where does Taj Brooks rate these days? Is he the greatest running back at Texas Tech? I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying you get the all-time rushing record. Was Hansbard the greatest running back at Texas Tech just because he had the record? We've had discussions over the years, and a lot of people would say no, Hansbard, even with the rushing record, was not the greatest running back of all time at Texas Tech. You've had a lot of great running backs. I love the debate. I love the question. I don't think it besmirches anything that Taj Brooks has done. He's a great running back. He's a great football player. So where does it put him? You tell us. Hoops puts up 90 tonight. Doubt it. I would say if they get mid 70s tonight, you're going to go into a cold gym. I don't mean like um, temperature wise, but you're going to go into a gym you don't play in. NBA setting, I don't think they're going to shoot that well. Be surprised if they do. I would say if you get 75 on this one, win 75, 65, take it, drive it like you stole it. They're not going to put up 90 tonight. Michael, did you know the last time the Dallas Cowboys drafted a quarterback in the first round was Troy Aikman? Hell yes. I was there. I was trying to get drafted. I wasn't playing at the time, but I was available in the draft in '89. The Dallas Cowboys have never won a Super Bowl or an NFL championship title game without a first round draft pick slash generational Hall of Fame quarterback. Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, even Don Meredith, highly drafted. You've never won without a great, generationally great quarterback. So yeah, and that was not Jerry Jones who selected Troy Aikman. That was Tom Landry. It was Tom Landry who worked him out and everything else, and then they ended up taking him in the draft that spring after the firing. Craig, I believe that James Gray was the best running back with the teams that he was dealt with. They had a great team in '89. One of the best teams all time at Texas Tech in '89. Fifth-year seniors up and down the line. Underrated, Texas Tech's Ricky Williams. 1998, taking on the Ricky Williams, beating him. Spike Dykes taking down, what was that guy's name? He was a coach at Texas. He went to North Carolina. Nobody knows what he is. Yeah. Yeah, Ricky Williams was a really, really good running back, probably underrated. Fake Natalie Maines, who may or may not be the real Natalie Maines. Do you think the Barclays Center needs to get a better beef jerky sponsor than Old Trapper? Actually, I think that's a Big 12 sponsor. Should they go for Jackson Brothers, Robertson's, or New Braunfels Smokehouse? I'm a Jack, what is it? Jack Armstrong or, whatever it is. I mean, you can't go wrong with most beef jerky. The Barclays Center, here we go. I'll tell this story as we go through tonight. And we may go the whole time. I don't know. We may talk running backs, basketball, Tech versus Oklahoma State, what weirdness could happen. And weirdness has happened in this series over the years. I don't know. We'll go as long as I'm interested. But I went up there with the Lady Raiders in 2013 for a Thanksgiving tournament. And the Barclays Center was fairly new. First time I'd ever been in Brooklyn. Been to New York a lot of times. And I was blown away by how cool the Barclays Center was. It was really top-notch, first class. Enjoyed everything about being there. But the neatest thing, and this is how you know you're from West Texas, all right? Here you go. So the Barclays Center sits in Brooklyn, New York. There's no land. There's no parking. There's no anywhere. You're literally driving down a street, and all of a sudden, there's the Barclays Center, and most of it is underground. So we're pulling up to it in the team bus, and, a lot of arenas, like the United Spirit Arena, you drive down a ramp, you do all this stuff, you go in, the team bus goes that way, you get out, and you're in the arena, and you get off the bus, and you walk in. So the team bus pulls into the Barclays Center, like off the street, and all of a sudden we're in this like little narrow garage, except it's not a garage. No, it's not. It's a freaking elevator. So the bus goes into this massive elevator, and the doors close, and we go down underground in a bus, in an elevator, and the elevator stops, and the door opens, except we don't get out yet. It's like a roundhouse in a railroad, and it turns it around, and we back out into our stall, and then we're there. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then leaving the same deal that you go out the way you came in, lifts you up, boom, out on the street. Amazing. Great area, great, cool. Okay, they had also, at the Barclays Center, they had, really cool practice area for the Nets and everything, and a practice gym and all this stuff. They had these dispensers on the wall in the practice area for the players that we got to go to because we were working out because we were special. And it was like 8 different things of M&Ms and candy. Oh, hell yeah, the announcer was going over there. I'm filling up pockets. Yeah, pour it in here. Give me some of that. Really cool center. Really cool place to play. I hope Jeff Haxton has a great broadcast tonight. That was also one of the places where you go into and you can't carry your own equipment because it's a union. And I've been through this a few times over the years. So got in and started to, I'm carrying my own radio equipment. And then all of a sudden there's this dude. Yeah, I'm with the Teamsters logo, whatever. I'm here to help you with your, I'm like, I'm literally sitting down, getting it started. I was like, dude, I don't need any help. I do this all the time. Yeah, I have to be here. I got to be here. I'm like, okay, well, what? He said, well, I just got to sit here next to you. Like, next to me? Well, I mean, I just got to make sure. I get it, dude. I've been through this in Vegas a few years before, a couple of different places. I'm like, dude, I understand. It's college, it's not NBA. We do our own thing. He's, oh no, I just have to stand here. He was almost like apologetic. He was. So the dude sits there the whole time I'm there. It takes like 5 minutes to set up my stuff. Do you mind if I go in the back for a little while? No, that's okay. That's fine. Thank you. Okay. Well, here's my card. He gives me a card. It has no name, just a phone number and like a Teamsters Union local, whatever. Says, all right, if you need me, just dial that number. Never see him again. Brooklyn better than Manhattan. Brooklyn was, I like Brooklyn. We had a great time there. I enjoyed it. It's more of a community. It's more of a place. And they loved us as Texans. They really did. I had a good time there. Walking down Flatbush Avenue, all the Christmas decorations out. If you know the Lords of Flatbush or anything like that, you know what I'm talking about. Ebbets Field, the hotel we stayed at, had actual stadium seats in a little hotel bar area that you could sit in from Ebbets Field. It's pretty cool. All right, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Your thoughts on the game? We can do that tonight. We'll do more tomorrow. Prediction Friday. Texas Tech basketball tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. I truly don't. Again, I love what we've seen out of this team. The ball movement. I like Hawkins. We love JT Toppin. We love what we've seen early on. Now you got to play somebody that's actually halfway good. What are you going to do? If you give me 75-66, I'll take it. Give me 75-66, I'll take it. Let's find out together tonight. And then overrated, underrated, rated, right? Running backs all time. Is Taj Brooks the greatest running back all time Texas Tech? How would you rate him? Who are the greatest running backs you've ever seen in your lifetime? Underrated running back, Eric Dickerson. Ignore the pony excess and all that stuff, SMU. I saw a post today on Twitter, somebody saying, nobody talks about this guy anymore. Why don't we talk about Eric Dickerson? Good Lord, he was really good. We don't talk about it. The greatest running back in my adult era was Barry Sanders. And we had a lot of great debates early on in the early days of the Williams and Hyatt show, 94 to 2000. Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. And my contention was this. Barry Sanders got a lot done with a bad offensive line. Emmitt Smith had the best offensive line in football for 5 years. Barry Sanders could have gone behind that offensive line in Dallas and been even better. Emmitt Smith goes to Detroit. Mm-mm. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Ben out there makes me nervous. Okie State 0-7 in conference. Do we go in overconfident? I'll say this, Ben. If you're Texas Tech and you've had the last month or so of football and you can go in overconfident, you got psychological issues and problems. You ought to be just glad you still have a scholarship, a place to eat, and a place to live. And if you're Texas Tech and you go in overconfident the way you've played in the last month, you got psychological issues. And if this coaching staff allows that team to go in overconfident, you got nothing on Oklahoma State right now. I said right now. You've done nothing over the last month for the most part that they've done. You've been no better. There used to be a term called break your plate. And they'd take your scholarship away. They'd break your plate in the dining hall. That's how you knew you didn't get to eat there no more. And man, I would break the plate of anybody walking around this week that thinks you're overconfident going to Stillwater against a coach that owns you 14-4. Let's, yeah. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Oklahoma State. Big 12. You're 3-10 away against them. Neutral site 1-0. Texas Stadium 96. You're 11 and 16. 7-6 at home. You're 8-14 there. You lost to him in Tokyo. Were you there? Been in Tokyo? No, you. Yeah, you would have been. Yeah. Ben would have been there. If you go into this game overconfident, you got psychological issues. If you're a Tech player, Jeff, greatest running back I ever saw in person, Sweetness. Would have killed to have seen Walter Payton play in person. James Gray, if not the greatest running back all time at Texas Tech, maybe my favorite. And there's a lot of James Gray and Taj Brooks. We've talked about the patience, the balance. I think Brooks probably accelerates faster than James did. But James was sneaky fast. And, dude, he was a smart running back. In a really good offense set up for him there with Dick Winder and what was going on there. Exactly saw what Emmitt did at Cardinals. Well, when Emmitt Smith goes to Arizona, Emmitt Smith is 52 years old. Derrick Henry or Adrian Peterson? Or am I having to choose one? Two very different running backs. Adrian Peterson, not a flash in the pan, but didn't last very long. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, is 11 games in, scoring a touchdown in all first 11 games of the season. Nobody's done it this year except for Henry, but nobody's done it in NFL history other than O.J. Simpson in like 72. Yeah, but Jerry Jones couldn't afford him. Derrick Henry's awesome. And he'll never get talked about amongst the great NFL running backs because of the timing. It's not a running back era. I'll take Henry over Adrian Peterson. Comparing running backs now from running backs from the past is like comparing modern day cars to classic cars. Football, a different game now than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. I disagree. I can look at running backs and tell you that's a good running back. Just like I can look at a car and go, that's a good car. I can look at a Superbird and say that's a cool car. '79 Camaro Berlina, cool car then, cool car now. I can look at running backs and tell you that's a good running back. I can compare them. I can. What was? I didn't realize you were a red shirt. Oh yeah, that was '88, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. No, because that was my freshman year. So yeah, that makes sense. We had to listen to that. Not had to. There was no TV. So what me and Ben are talking about here, Texas Tech and Oklahoma State play in the Tokyo Bowl, win a bowl game, just in the season in 1988 in Tokyo, and no TV. We're listening to Jack Dale and maybe John Harris. I think John Harris was on color on that one or whatever. It started like at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and me and my buddy Wes, we had discovered vodka that fall. Hello, vodka. And we were mixing drinks and having a good time. And by the time the game rolled out, oh Lord, it was a rough night. Why do almost all the mixologists in Brooklyn wear very short brim flat cowboy hats with suspenders and bolo ties? They look like Jason Kelsey on the set for Monday Night Football. I can't answer that question, Randy. But Jason Kelsey the other day, what are we doing here? I mean, it's not quite Amish. It's not. I don't know what the look is there that Kelsey. And I'm this close to being done with the Kelseys. Billy Taylor, BT, the BT Express, late 70s, 76, 77, 70, 77, goes to the New York Giants, gets beat up. I'd put Billy Taylor's obviously top 10 all-time running backs, Texas Tech. I mean, from a fan standpoint, he'd probably be in my top 7 or 8. He was really good. And of course, he scores what would be the winning touchdown against Texas, pardon me, for Texas Tech in 1976, going over the top into the south end zone there against the Longhorns with Rodney Allison in the background with the red, white, and blue sweatbands signaling touchdown. Still, to me, the most iconic picture of all time. I know everybody wants it to be Crabtree going down the sideline. No, it's Taylor going over the top. Truly, it is. Yeah. So Taylor, I mean, top 10. I mean, where do I put Bobby Cavazos? We're not talking yardage. We're talking great running backs. You know. And then my man, we got a lot of different guys to talk about over the years. You know, but my man Anthony Lynn is probably the most underrated running back at Texas Tech. He comes in after James Gray, and he was a poor man's, Eric Dickerson. He was a big, tall guy, upright runner, even wore, the little neck roll and everything. Number 22. But the problem that Anthony Lynn had is he came in after Gray, and the offensive line that he plays behind is not bad, just not good. Incredibly young in 1991, and there were a lot of changes going on. If Ben's still watching, he knows what I'm talking about. In that offensive line, they tried, but he was as big as some of the offensive line. And the only crime that he had was coming in after that. If Anthony Lynn plays behind that 89 offensive line, he runs for 1,200 yards. But he didn't. And then after him, obviously, you get Hansbard, Bam Morris, you get some really good running backs in through there. But I'm telling you, and he proved it. Anthony Lynn was one of the greatest athletes, probably to play Texas Tech football in a 25-year window. He goes to the NFL, plays for the Broncos. He's a running back. He's also on special teams and made a living on special teams for a decade, and obviously became a coach later on and everything else. But you don't make a living in the NFL as a special teams guy unless you're a hell of an athlete and willing to do things that most guys aren't willing to do. And I would put on the underrated list all time Anthony Lynn in the last, well, it's more than 25 years now. Hi there, you know. Salina Bobcat and GM are exactly, you know. Taj has a lot of had not in him. Yeah. Maybe. I think Taj has more James Gray than had not. Had not was a dude. He was a beast. I mean, when your nickname is Kong, as in King, he started off as a tight end. All right. For those who don't know, James had not in the mid 70s starts off as a tight end. That's why he wore 86, and he plays tight end. And then they move him to tailback in 77 or 8. I'm trying to remember which year it was, which gave Grant Taft the great line, one of the greatest lines of all time, preseason, like at Southwest Conference Media Days before the 78 season. He says something like, James Hadnot is the greatest tight end in the Southwest Conference, and I wish Tech would move him back there. I would say more Gray than Hadnot. Hadnot is really a one-off. The offensive line in 89, one of the best O-lines I've seen in college, especially at the All-American Bowl. Steamrolled Duke. A Duke team that I don't know if they wanted to be there or not, but they hadn't prepped at all. What was that coach's name? Steve something, Spurrier something. He had one foot out the door. They literally didn't practice leading up to the bowl game, and it showed. Yeah, that 89 offensive line, you had almost all of them were Jerry Moore recruits, fifth-year seniors, been together forever, and just tough dudes. Lynn Wright, Richburg, those guys, really good dudes. Timbo, great stretch of backs from Gray to Hansford. Yeah, I mean, even after that, Ricky Williams, Shad Williams, Torian Henderson. I mean, how far do we want to go? There were some awesome running backs for Tech throughout the years in the future. Enjoyed watching them all. Agreed. And that was the thing, like, Texas Tech, the running back award, I just blanked out. Oh, my gosh. Somebody help me out here. SMU. Doak Walker Award. That was just like the de facto Tech award there in the 90s. Who's the Tech running back? Running back you. Running back you, running back me. All right, last chance, comments, questions, thoughts. Prediction tomorrow, prediction Friday. Tomorrow on the site, the most Texan thing you've done this week. We want to hear from you on that. Anything else? Enjoyed the hell out of it. Let's enjoy some Tech basketball. We'll talk about that tomorrow night on the show as well. I'm intrigued to see what we learn. Win, lose, or otherwise, we're going to learn a lot about this team, and that's okay. Great thing about college basketball, I'll tell you this right now, I don't think Tech's going to lose, but if they do, don't be those people freaking out on Twitter. Don't be people saying, see, this team's a fraud. Don't be those people out there going, yeah, McCaslin, he can't, don't do that. Raiderland people, you're better than that, Let's learn about this team tonight. Let's see what happens. All right. We'll see you in the morning. TheRaiderland.com.